Coming up on LEX 18 News at 11.
A southeastern Kentucky family is dealing with tragedy after the death of a toddler. Watch why police say it's a case of manslaughter.
Man, I sell drugs. I'm not a killer.
An accused murderer says police have the wrong man. And are they connected? Police in 2 counties are investigating bank robberies that happened just an hour apart.
With coverage you can count on, this is LEX 18 News at 11.
A man is behind bars in Clay County because police say he was intoxicated when he ran over and killed a little girl. That's tonight's LEX 18 Big Story at 11. Good evening, I'm Nancy Cox.
And I'm Kevin Christopher. Thanks for joining us at 11. Police say he didn't see her. Now a Clay County man who police say admitted he'd been drinking and taking drugs is charged with second-degree manslaughter after hitting a toddler in her driveway and killing her. Jackie Congedo just returned from Manchester, and she joins us with the story.
Kevin, the tragedy of this is just unimaginable. Police say the little girl's uncle saw it all happen and tried to get that driver to stop, but it was just too late. That's the LEX 18 Big Story at 11. Outside this home, 10 miles north of Manchester,
she was a little sweetheart.
There's nothing but heartbreak.
She was just so sweet. You couldn't ask for a better little grandbaby.
Little Clarissa Danielle Burkhart had just turned 14 months old today. This afternoon, police say she was in the family's driveway when Bobby Leicester Jr. was leaving.
Apparently he was there visiting and got in the vehicle, did not see the child, started to move the vehicle and struck the child.
Family members home at the time did what they could.
The child's uncle was actually standing outside and saw the accident occur and rushed over and stopped, got the vehicle to stop and took the child and tried to get medical attention.
Authorities say Sester drove the little girl and her family to meet an ambulance 5 miles up the road, but they say he failed field sobriety tests and that he admitted he'd been drinking and taking prescription medication. This driveway now a crime scene where family members mourn a senseless loss.
I loved her so much. She sure is going to be missed a lot.
Sester is charged with second-degree manslaughter, DUI, failure to produce insurance, and failure to register a motor vehicle. He's being held in the Clay County Detention Center. Kevin, back to you.
Clarissa was the youngest of 4 children. The Laurel County Sheriff's Department says a school bus crossed in front of a pickup late this afternoon, causing a crash that sent 8 people to the hospital.
It happened around 3:30 on US 25E at the intersection of Ferriston Road. The Sheriff's Department says the driver of the pickup was flown to UK Hospital for treatment. 7 children, 5 girls and 2 boys, were taken to St. Joseph, London with minor injuries.
I have no idea. All I know is my babies are safe, and thank the Lord in heaven.
I work for the hospital, so it's actually seeing, when it's your child, you never know how scary this can be, but when it's your child.
The driver of the pickup has been identified as 19-year-old Anthony Wagers of Lilly. He was treated and released at UK Hospital. The bus driver has been identified as 53-year-old Linda Floyd of London. She was not injured.
The Mercer County Sheriff is opening up about the crash that killed his 17-year-old daughter. It happened on Perryville Road nearly 2 weeks ago. Police say Alyssa Kelty lost control of her car in a curve on the wet road and slammed into an oncoming SUV. Sheriff Ernie Kelty was one of the first people on the scene. Today, Kelty told LEX 18 his daughter's spirit has helped him get through this tragedy.
People she put before herself makes me very proud to be her dad. I told folks that it wasn't Alyssa Kelty was Ernie Kelty's daughter. It's Ernie Kelty was Alyssa Kelty's dad, because I'm so proud to know that she done those things. We heard countless stories about students that she helped.
A scholarship fund set up in Alyssa's memory has already raised $3,000. Donations to the Alyssa Kelty Memorial Fund will be used for college scholarships through Mercer County High School. If you like, you can donate to the fund at any Farmers Bank branch or mail a check or money order made out to In Memory of Alyssa D. Kelty to P.O. Box 99, 838 North College Street, Harrodsburg, and the zip is 40330. He says he didn't do it, but today Clark Young Jr. was charged with the murder of a young man found shot to death on a Lexington porch last month.
And as LEX 18's Josh Breslow reports from behind bars, Young says he's innocent.
Man, I sell drugs. I'm not a killer.
From behind bars, Clark Young Jr. tells me they've got the wrong guy.
There's real killers out there. I'm not the man.
The 24-year-old charged with the murder of Vincent Miles, a man found shot to death on the porch of a home on Elm Tree Lane during the early morning hours of October 11.
Why would I do this to him? I'm saying for what?
Young says he knew Miles well, but hadn't spoken to him in years.
I went to his family's crib. They cooked and everything. Went to the funeral and everything. Obviously, he's good people. He got a good history. I know his family.
Police say they didn't have to go far to place the murder charge on Young. He was already in the jail in connection with another shooting that injured 2 people. This one on Whitney Avenue the day before Miles was murdered.
Wrong man.
Young maintains his innocence in that shooting as well.
Just a bunch of people gossiping. Now, if you wasn't there, how could you place me somewhere that I wasn't?
The 24-year-old admits he was just released from prison after serving 5 years on drug charges, but he says he would never shoot anyone for any reason.
They'll do whatever to just get a conviction to make this community feel safe.
And while Young waits, locked up in the Fayette County Jail, he says he can promise you one thing.
My innocence will be revealed.
Covering the news in Lexington, Josh Breslow, LEX 18 News.
Police say right now they do not believe Young is involved in any of the other shootings around Lexington last month.
A state police trooper is credited with tackling an accused gunman at a rest area on I-75 near the Tennessee state line. It happened earlier today in Whitley County. State police say just before 1 this afternoon, 2 truckers got into an argument on their CBs. They pulled into the rest area, then got out of their trucks armed with sticks. Police say Tommy Lee Jones of Follett, Tennessee, hit Gary Smith of Cleveland, Ohio, in the head with a stick, injuring his ear. Investigators say that's when Smith pulled out a gun and fired 2 shots at Jones. The trooper heard the shots and saw Jones running through the parking lot. When the trooper spotted Smith carrying a weapon, he tackled him and was able to disarm and arrest him. Jones was taken to the Corbin Hospital for treatment of minor injuries. Smith was treated at the scene. There's no word about any charges.
2 police departments are working together to figure out if one man robbed banks in Lexington and Richmond this afternoon. LEX 18's Jennifer Hoff is live off Pleasant Ridge in Hamburg to explain.
Nancy, first this Fifth Third Bank branch was robbed. Then an hour later, Chase Bank in Richmond's Eastern Bypass was robbed. And while police haven't confirmed if it's the same guy who hit both those branches, take a look at these surveillance photos and you'll see they're nearly identical.
Lexington police scoured bushes searching for money a man officers said stole from this bank. They would find it in a trash can, but not the man who may have thrown it there.
A male white subject in his early 40s wearing a jacket that had a Nautica insignia on it and a Nike hat. He had wire-rimmed glasses. He had gray hair about collar length in the back.
In addition to the physical description, which clearly matches surveillance photos, workers said the man was drunk and pretended to have a weapon when he robbed Fifth Third Bank around 4 o'clock. Despite the canvas and canines, the robber was gone.
You know, we're going to exhaust everything we can, and as we eliminate certain locations, we'll move on.
It appears the robber did too. An hour later, at a bank south of town off I-75, a man passed a note to a teller, demanded money, got it, and took off in a black SUV. The MO might be different, but look at this picture Richmond police released. It's so similar to the robber in Lexington. The 2 agencies are investigating whether the crimes are connected, but they'll have to find the robber first.
We don't know whether he's still in this area or he may be in a car. We're checking surrounding businesses now for video evidence and those type of things to maybe help narrow it down for us.
Now, both of these banks are closed tomorrow, but not because of those robberies, rather because it's Veterans Day. We are covering the news live in Lexington from the LEX 18 mobile newsroom. Kevin and Nancy, back to you.
No one was hurt in either robbery.
Last night, a Frankfort convenience store clerk was robbed for the 2nd time this week, but police say they don't think there's a connection. Monday, the female clerk was sprayed in the face with bug spray. Then last night, just after 10, police say the Circle K gas station on Schenkel Lane was hit again. And you can see on this surveillance video released to LEX 18, a man dressed in black with a ski mask walked in, pulled out a gun, and threatened the same woman and other employees behind the counter. Police say the clerk doesn't seem to think the two robberies are related. If you know anything about either robbery, call Frankfort Police.
Lexington police are searching for a man who didn't return to the Fayette County Jail after leaving on a court-ordered pass. 42-year-old Joseph Wilson was released at 11 this morning and was supposed to come back at 3 but never showed. He was charged with contempt of court but will now be charged with escape as well. Officials say although he's wearing a neck brace in this photo, he no longer uses it.
And now, Chief Meteorologist Bill Meck and LEX 18 Storm Tracker weather.
It's a cold night out there. Temperatures have fallen into the 30s, and a few folks getting a little teeny, tiny, itty bitty bit of snow. Let's show you the MaxTrack Live Doppler. And as we go out there for you this evening, a lot of stuff you're looking to the south, Rockcastle County, Jackson County, that may be just Virga. But you may get a little sprinkle or flurry out of the deal. But we were getting reports earlier out of Carlisle. A couple of them came in back to back of a little skiff of snow that fell with that little snow shower that's just gone through Owingsville. It's now moving in on Cave Run Lake and Moorhead. So again, that's just something that's a little more substantial out there. Temperatures are still above freezing, so whatever falls will melt as soon as it stops falling, essentially. It came courtesy of Lake Michigan. The wind, though, is veering a little bit, so we will see the snow and the clouds go away. We're still well above freezing. Jackson's at 35. That's the cold spot. Lexington, 38. Frankfort's at 39. Somerset and London each at 36. The flurries will end. We drop into the upper 20s. And how's this for a scary sight? They let us play with sharp things tonight. American Diabetes Association had a fundraiser over at Beatty's Mongolian Grill over at Hamburg. Nikki Burdine and I were grilling tonight. Those were they use those to grill. They're like big, long, sharp things, and you move it around on the grill. Yeah, those things. But they're like knives plus. So anyway, thanks to the folks who came out there to support the American Diabetes Association.
You had a little too much fun with those, didn't you?
It was a good time, yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Phil.
Police say a southeastern Kentucky woman wanted her husband dead, so she tried to hire someone to kill him.
But coming up at 11, watch why police say her plan backfired and landed her behind bars. And a little later, an eastern Kentucky family says a mother and son lost their lives in an early morning house fire.
And now, Chief Meteorologist Bill Meck and LEX 18 Storm Tracker weather.
It does have that feel out there tonight. It's cold. You see that full moon every once in a while coming through kind of a thin overcast, and every once in a while a little snowflake wanders by. Let's show you what's going on right now. MaxTrack Live Doppler, and the most significant area of snowflakes, and that becomes a relative term, is right around Cave Run Lake. That's moving through Bath and Rowan County. And there may be a sprinkle or a flurry that's making the ground, say, down toward beautiful Berea, down toward Rockcastle County, Jackson County, Owsley County. And most of that may be evaporating on the way down. Now, we'll continue to clear the sky out as we go through the night, but it gets cold. Upper 20s starting the day tomorrow. Veterans Day, it is going to be a day that will be dry, but it will be brisk. Mid-40s at lunchtime. From lunchtime into the latter part of the day, we'll go partly sunny in the afternoon, and temperatures upper 40s, so we'll kind of go up pretty quickly in the morning and sort of plateau out as those clouds build in. The moment we're running middle and upper 30s. It is cold out there. Lexington right now we're at 38, Jackson's at 35. Monticello's dropped to a 33-degree mark. We'll go into the upper 20s to get your day started tomorrow. We'll see that quick rise in the morning with the sun out, but then again leveling it off as we get into the afternoon. So just upper 40s ought to be about it, but a nice warm-up comes in on Saturday. We had highs today that were running about 10 degrees or so below normal, low 50s today, and again, it had a cool feel. We had a lot of wind around today, and that just made it feel even more brisk. We also saw the clouds around during the afternoon, and every once in a while little spits of sprinkles and flurries came out. You can also notice how the wind is now shifting away from Lake Michigan, so we've got our batch of clouds here, and then from there northwest, we've cleared everything out. So once we get this last bit gone, that ought to be about it. High pressure is building in across the south. That's why. We've got a little reinforcing cool front passing to our north. That's going to bring some snow to the mountains of West Virginia. For us, though, it's a dry forecast through Friday. Our winds turn out of the southwest on Saturday. That warms us up, and that carries us into your weekend. By Sunday, the system will begin to crank out here to our west. It's going to be a wind maker and it will eventually bring some rain in. Flurries will end if you still have some outside your house. Otherwise, it's clearing. We drop to the upper 20s. And Veterans Day, partly to mostly sunny. Still a cold day, though. Highs in the upper 40s, not as windy as it was today. But look at Saturday. We're close to 60. What a great November weekend. And then we're talking about mid-60s on Sunday. The clouds will be increasing. There's a chance of rain, but it's really more likely Sunday night. And then a much better chance of rain Monday and Tuesday.
Boy, I could take this pattern all winter long. I know you'd be disappointed.
Oh, no. Icky during the week, nice on the weekend.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
The man accused of killing a former business partner and shooting his wife will have to undergo another competency hearing.
We'll tell you when James Kelly is due back before a judge next at 11. Plus, the family of a convicted cop killer explains why they want William Bennett to spend his final days at home.
Because state police say she tried to hire a hitman to kill her husband.
Amber Hersey was arrested this morning, charged with solicitation of murder. State police say she approached a man and asked him to kill her husband in exchange for life insurance money. But police say the man knew the woman's husband and told him about the whole thing. A meeting was staged, and troopers say that's when Hersey incriminated herself.
A second competency evaluation for a Mercer County man accused of murdering a former business partner has been pushed forward. James Kelly's hearing will be December 13th, just before the first anniversary of the shooting. Police say Kelly shot and killed John Dacey in December 2010 and tried to kill Dacey's wife. Investigators say a day later, Kelly shot himself outside a Richmond hospital.
The family of a man who murdered a Fayette County sheriff's deputy says they want him out of prison so he can die in Lexington. William Bennett shot and killed Joe Angelucci back in November of 1988 while the sheriff's deputy was trying to take Bennett to a mental hospital. Bennett was sentenced to 120 years in prison, but has been granted an early medical parole hearing. Bennett's family says that's because he was found unconscious in his jail cell back in September and has been in a coma ever since. They say he needs the assistance of a breathing tube and isn't expected to live much longer. So they say they want him back in Lexington so he can spend his final days with his family.
He's here, at least he can be in a place where we can go see him. If there's no more, just sit there and look at him, but just to see him.
If they need to visit William Bennett before he dies, let him go to the penitentiary and do it. That's where he belongs.
The parole hearing is scheduled for November 28th.
A crash in West Lexington caused a major traffic backup during this evening's rush hour.
We'll take you to the scene next at 11. Plus, a Jessamine County man is breathing a sigh of relief after his missing jewelry was found. Didn't make it out of a burning Floyd County home.
It happened on North Front Street in Garrett, that's south of Prestonsburg. Martha Holthouse said she tried to wake up her neighbors when she saw smoke and flames coming from their home, but the fire was too intense. Relatives say 87-year-old Jewel Case and her son, 63-year-old James Martin Case, lived in the house. Firefighters found a man's body at the front door and a woman's body in a bedroom. The cause of the fire has yet to be determined.
A crash on Versailles Road in Lexington late this evening caused a major traffic backup in both directions. It happened next to the airport in front of Keeneland. 3 cars were involved, and as you can see, a van ended up underneath the back of an SUV. No word yet about any injuries.
Lost and found. Bob Webb says getting his missing $48,000 worth of jewelry back is like an early Christmas gift. Webb left the box of jewelry on the trunk of his car Tuesday before driving off. Police say 21-year-old Stephen Armstrong found it but tried to pawn it instead of returning it.
He had $1,000 reward out, and he would have gotten $1,000 if he just brought it back to me.
Armstrong is charged with felony theft in the case. John Calipari picks up another 5-star recruit, and this one was a little bit of a surprise.
And why wasn't Morgan Newton at practice today? He's not even in Lexington. We'll explain next in LEX 18 Sports.
Calipari and wake up every morning. I think other coaches are envious because it just means you probably signed another 5-star recruit. That's just what happened today when Alex Poitras signed his national letter of intent picking Kentucky. He did it at a ceremony at his high school. Now, no one really knew what Poitras was thinking. As of last night, most analysts thought he'd end up at Memphis or Vandy. But Coach Cal pulled it off today. He's a 6'7", skilled away from the bucket shooter and an excellent shot blocker. His signing boosted Kentucky's recruiting class to number 2 in the nation, and they're not done yet. They could still get their 4th straight number 1 class. Poitras joins Willie Cauley and Archie Goodwin. How many times have we heard Cal say, "I like my team"? The question is, does he like where his team is at right now? Alan Cutler has that.
Deron Lamb has no trouble admitting that he didn't get it last year. He didn't know how hard he needed to work. He promises that this year it will be different. So far, Cal says he's doing the Josh route. In other words, he's putting in extra work like Josh Harrelson did last year, which changed Josh's life. Cal wants to see more of it before he's convinced. We're not suggesting that practice was easy last year, but Terrence Jones believes it's much tougher this year.
Yeah.
Not even close?
Oh, nah.
It seems like the middle name for any coach is unhappy. Coaches are never satisfied where their team is at, especially since it's not even turkey time. But I finally got Cal to admit it. For today, for as much as this team has worked, he's pleased with where they are and where they've come from.
I'm fine with where we are. It's that who we're going to have to play. And everybody doesn't want to accept when I said it's going to be hard. We just talked today. What if we want to massage the ball? We haven't done it yet.
As only he can, Cal's advice to a freshman has everything to do with how football fans in Texas talk about their football team.
I'm so excited. I just told him anytime he catches it in the post, hook.
There's nothing about Cal's hook or outside shot that True Blue fans won't really like. Alan Cutler, LEX 18 Sports.
Cal also said today that Deron Lamb will start against Kansas because the game's in New York City, and that's where Deron's from, so he's earned it. Cal also said he hasn't yet talked with Stacey Poole about whether he'll transfer or stay at UK. UK quarterback Morgan Newton wasn't at practice today. Instead, he was in Indianapolis. Morgan asked, and Joker told him it was okay, if he sought a second opinion on both his shoulder and his ankle. Joker thought Newton would be healthy enough to go after the Mississippi State game, but he's still not ready to return. Bookie Cobbins will be the backup quarterback on Saturday. And I really want to thank OWL, O-W-L, Opportunities for Work and Learning. They gave me this award tonight at their 50th anniversary, so a big shout out to them. They do a lot of good work. They change lives there, so I'm really excited.
You and Bill just supporting all these groups all over town.
MJP, the MVP. Thank you, Mary Jo.
We'll be right back. It's Friday.
It will be. It'll be a cold start to your Friday and a chilly finish. We're in the upper 40s. And again, to our veterans and service people, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching. The Tonight Show with Jay Leno's coming up next. Good night.
For the latest news, sports, and your Storm Tracker forecast, log on to LEX18.com. Coverage you can count on.